Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Real Positive Girl podcast with me, Sabrina. This is the show that helps you become your best self. And today we're talking about how it's okay to have bad days. But before we jump into that, I want to, as always, invite you to come say hi to me and become friends with me on Instagram. I'm at Sabrina Joy Perozzo. I would love to chat with you in the DMs about any questions, comments, concerns, progress, feedback, topic suggestions, or if you just want to say hey and hi to me, I would love that. You're also welcome to send me an email to realpositivegirlpodcast@gmail.com. I also have been really staying on top of answering emails over there, so feel free to send me an email if you have any questions, if you need help with anything. Let me know if you've enjoyed the show. That'd be awesome too. And the newest thing that we have, which all of this will be linked in the show notes below, is I did start a Real Positive Girl community. So if you would like to join the Facebook community, which is again linked in the show notes, we can talk about the episodes over there and talk about different mental health topics and encouragement. And I just really wanted to create a place where we can all kind of get together and help each other and ask questions and start discussions. And you're able to download free tools over there as well. I plan on going live in the group, so I would just encourage you to add yourself to that, and hopefully we can start getting people in that group in the next couple weeks. So anyway, that is all that I have to share with you. So let's go ahead and jump into today's episode, which again is, it's okay to have bad days. Today I had a really rough day. So I wouldn't say that I wouldn't apply bad to it because I didn't feel like it was bad. It was close though. It was close. It was really rough. And it was busy and it really just sucked the life out of me, to be honest with you. Actually, I was already feeling depleted of energy when I went to go get my kiddo from school, and then knew that within 45 minutes of doing that afterwards, we would have to leave and be on our way to the theater for the rest of the evening. So if you don't know, and I've shared this on Instagram, so if you already follow me there, then you probably already know, my daughter does children's theater. And so this week, we have been in dress week, tech week, rehearsal week, whatever you want to call it, where you go to the theater that you're actually going to do the show in. So you've done rehearsals leading up to this a few times a week, but now we're going to the theater that we're actually going to perform it in, and then you practice the show from top to bottom several times, and you wear your costumes, and everyone pretends like it's a real show so that we can work out all the kinks, and it is very exhausting having to do that. I know it's exhausting for the kids, it's exhausting for me and all the parents, and so that contributed to my rough day because it was just the fourth day in the row of doing this and still going to work and still doing other stuff. And so, you know what I mean? When you have a period of time in your life where you're just going, or you just feel like things are just really rough, you feel like you're struggling and you're barely surviving and getting by, these can all feel like bad days. But, despite today being a really rough day, I usually try my best to not assign a whole day as tough or bad or awful if it was really only a portion of the day that was difficult, because it's not fair. You know what I mean? And this is something I try to do a lot. And I even tell my daughter, and I even tell my husband that, just because something bad happened doesn't mean the whole day is ruined, right? You can't just throw a blanket over the whole day just because someone made your coffee wrong in the morning, right? Your day could still get good, or your day could have been really good before that happened and then still can be really good afterwards. It's just this little piece in the middle. So that's important to remember. It's okay to have bad days, but you don't want to just assign your whole day as bad if only a couple bad things happened and the majority it was fine or good or great or enjoyable. So it's just something to remember. But today for me is the exception because it really was rough, from I would say top to bottom, because even my workout this morning was rough. It was a lot. And it doesn't really matter what happened or who was involved. So even if I hadn't told you, it really doesn't matter because it's going to be different for everyone when they assign a day to be rough, tough, bad, horrible, terrible. It just matters that, you and me felt like it was not a good day. You were like, this is not a good day at all. Absolutely not. And that's important because we need to keep an eye on how many days we feel we are struggling versus how many are going well or good enough, right? And I'm fine if a majority of my days personally were good enough because I made it through without slowly slipping down into a spiral of mental chaos. More on that in a second, but yeah, so it's really good just to kind of be on top of like, okay, do I feel like I'm having more days where I would assign them as bad or as I'm struggling? I'm riding that struggle bus like all the way through the town every single day versus days where they were good or they're acceptable and they were fine, right? Because if you find yourself having more rough days, bad days, struggling days, then good days, then I think that could be a sign for you to find help in figuring out why. Maybe really deciding to make some changes. Things need to shift and if it's for a long period of time, like sometimes we're just in a really tough season where the downs are more than the ups for a little bit of time. But if you find this consistently happening, nothing is changing, you don't see a reason why this season in your life would be the way that it is, I personally would encourage you to find some help. Whether that's going to be a friend or a family member that you trust, a mentor, a counselor, be super helpful, a life coach, whatever it is, find someone that can really help you break down like what's happening, what can change, what should change, what has to change, and how things can be a little bit better with more acceptable days, is what I would say. So just something to consider. But again, yeah, I am totally fine with days that are like just good enough because, again, I'm not allowing myself to slip slowly down into a spiral of mental chaos. But not allowing yourself to slip into that mental chaos that, it could also be looked at as like a pit of despair. Anything adjacent to victim mentality is the best thing that you can do, right? It's really important because it's really easy to let it happen, right? It's really easy. It's a slippery slope with that falling into all of those not fun places to be because, as I've mentioned before, being positive actually takes work, Erring on the side of good and things are okay takes more work than just allowing all the negative to take you over. You can easily allow whatever bad things happen that day take over all the space in your mind and not allow you to still see the good things that happened, right? It really clouds your mind. And I assure you, there were good things that happened. I promise you. You can tell me that they didn't, they did. The first one, which you might think is really cheesy, but it's true, because as I've mentioned, things that are cliche and cheesy tend to be true. Just people are sick of hearing them because they've been heard all the time. But one of those things is you're awake, you're alive, and you're breathing, and you're able to go about your day and do what you need to do or do what you want to do, right? So good things happen every single day. We just don't practice enough gratitude to notice them. And also, it's just so much easier to not notice them. It's just harder to think about those things because the bad things seem so much bigger and so much more important. And, like ask yourself but I want you to ask yourself, like literally do this exercise, like right now, even if you need to pause. Ask yourself how much better your day would be if you decided to make highlighting the good things in your day, even if there are fewer good things than bad things, even if bad things are just like winning by a mile and how many of those cropped up in your day. But yeah, highlighting the good things in your day as important as it is to talk about the bad things. So if you're like, okay, well, I woke up and I was able to have food in my house to make breakfast, or I was able to take a shower with hot water, and I'm breathing and I'm healthy and I have a job to go to, and my kids are still healthy, and my husband's still healthy, my partner is still healthy, people in my life love me, I am cared for, like all of these things that we take for granted a lot of the times. Or, my boss still likes me at work and I make enough money to pay for this, that, and the other. And I feel supported and I have good friends and things are just going well, right? So think about how much better your day would be if you were spending more time talking about and highlighting all of these good things rather than the bad things. But it's tough because we as like a culture, as society, really, really, really like to talk about all the bad things that are happening to us. And if you don't agree with me, take a moment, again, another pause, take a moment to think about what you have shared with others over the last week. And I think you will find that a lot of what we share with others is about the negatives that affect us, not the wins. So I think it's a good exercise. So really take a moment, because if you don't agree with what I'm saying, I think you haven't really thought it through, because there is so much crap we are trying to tell people. And a lot of it is just like, oh, let me tell you what I've been going through, right? It's easier to jump to those things. They're like right there. You're allowing yourself to be controlled by these negative thoughts. So really ask yourself that, like, wow, like, am I really talking more about the bad things, the negative things more often than the positive things that are happening in my life? And I can understand how, like, you telling someone, wow, I'm so grateful and happy, and it was a good thing that happened that I woke up today. Like, I know that doesn't seem like like this great conversation that you're going to have. But as opposed to being like, wow, this terrible thing is still happening to me, I feel like that's even more boring. So just my personal opinion on that. But I get it, I do get this whole idea of us talking more about the negative, because the hard and tough times and those things that happen stand out to us and seem more fun to share than the good things, the positive things. These things can be like less exciting. The good things can be less exciting and boring to talk about, honestly. Again, like, oh, guess what? I'm so happy that I woke up today. Yeah. Okay, great. Like, you are like, who cares? But you care. And I think for them, they care, that's just like this personal thing, but it's still a good thing. Like, you could even be like, oh, well, I was able to grab my favorite place for lunch, so that made it a really good day. Awesome. I know it sounds boring, but it's still like a really, really good thing. I mean, having a captive audience for all the good things that happened to you today feels less likely. It feels like no one's going to care about this good thing that happened to me, even if it was really great, even if it was like, wow, like for me, it'd be like, wow, we really nailed that rehearsal today. It was really good. People are like, okay, great, as opposed to being like, wow, it really went terrible. This is what happened. They're like all intrigued. They're like, oh my gosh, tell me more, spill the tea. Let me think of it as like it's a movie happening in my brain. So I can understand why people would think, because even I do struggle with that, thinking that like people are not going to care about the good things. Another reason why it's easier to share the negatives instead of the positive is because it allows you to relate with others easier. Like, maybe this is not something that you've thought about, but it is true. You were able to have these moments of relating with each other and feeling like you're the same when you're talking about the problems that you're having and how things are kind of rough. Whereas sharing the positives and everything going well for you can feel like bragging, self-absorbed, or like some non-inclusive club or something to other people, because they may not be having the same experiences in their life. Their life might be even more rough than yours. They may be having a lot of troubles, a lot of issues, a lot of setbacks. And for whatever reason, you're like, oh, I don't want to talk about that with them. I don't want to tell them all the great things happening to me, because what if it feels like they're not having many great things happen to them? But, and I know I struggle to talk positive about myself because I fear it will make other people uncomfortable. But the thing that I've thought about recently that I need to remind myself in the moment when I don't want to share positive things is that maybe if I did that more often, then it would encourage other people to do so as well. Right? You're a role model. You're really setting an example for like, okay, well, they're gonna, like, maybe you're like, yeah, this really good thing happened today, and this really good thing happened today, and this really good thing happened today, and this really rough thing happened today, but it wasn't that bad, and I'm really glad that these other really good things happened, because it made that other thing like not as bad, and I have all these positive things to focus on instead, and not allow that bad thing to drive me crazy. Like, that's the way I would go about it. But it can feel very like you're in their face about it, because you're like, all these great things, and they have not trained or shifted their brain and their mindset to be like that. But you can encourage them by just doing it and continuously doing it on the regular, and maybe they will start to follow suit. I mean, it's not your job to expect them to, it's just nice to always be like setting a good example. That's what I believe. But yeah, so I understand how it can be really uncomfortable, and it's easier to share those negative things because you feel like you're on the same playing field with them because they're struggling, you're struggling, you have that in common. It makes it easier for conversation and it's less awkward. And despite doing your best to not inflate your bad day or allow it to totally ruin your mood and mindset, which we definitely need to remember that it's okay to have a bad day, but we definitely need to make sure that it is not ruining our moods and our mindsets. But yeah, it's still okay to have a bad day, right? We just need to remember that bad days don't define us, and they don't need to dictate how our day is going to be for the rest of the day. When those bad things happen, it doesn't need to dictate how we should act or react. It doesn't need to dictate us being in a grumpy mood for the rest of the day at all whatsoever. It's just rough, tough, bad days happen, and we can still overcome. 'Cause just because you have a bad day, I want you to know it doesn't mean that you're a bad person. Because again, like I said, your bad days don't need to define you. They don't need to define your mindset, your mood, and anything else in your life. And they don't slap this label on you that says that you're a bad person or bad at what you do. It just means that things didn't work out, right? It's that simple. We think of it as this catastrophic, terrible thing, but things just don't work out. And that's pretty disappointing a lot of the time. I get it. I've been there many, many times, and I'm sure I will be there many more, as many of us will be, because life has ups and downs. But yeah, it just means that things didn't work out. And that's okay because not everything is going to work out. And, I would even go so far as to say that not everything is supposed to work out. We make plans and think we thought it all the way through, right? We think that we're super smart, and we are very super smart, but we think that we are so much smarter than the person, than the creator of our world, that we're like, okay, well, we have it all figured out. We know exactly how it needs to be, how it needs to go, and we do it. But we often miss things, right? Or it just wasn't meant to be, so it doesn't work out. And it's as simple as that. It just wasn't meant to be. It wasn't supposed to happen this way. It might come through our life in a different way, or it might not be destined for our life at all. It just depends. So, and I feel like that makes it a lot easier for me to accept when things don't work out or not, because especially if I put the effort in, the time in, it could just be also it wasn't meant to happen at this time, and it could happen months and years later. I don't know. I don't write the script. I just try my best to live my life day to day, week to week, month to month, and hope for the best. Truly, and that's coming straight from someone that's a control freak. I am telling you, not every day is perfect at all whatsoever. Not even close. But I try my hardest to think of my day like that because I just want to enjoy today, since we are not promised tomorrow. So anyway, we make plans. It doesn't work out. So it's just probably not meant to be. But whether you come to that conclusion or not of believing whether it's meant to be or not, and understanding that, it's still okay to have bad days. It's still okay to feel crappy. It's still okay to be oh, I'm really upset that did not happen. I'm really disappointed. I wish that didn't happen. I need to try to find another way. I want to pout about it for a little bit. I want to feel bad. It's okay. It's totally okay. And I think a couple months ago, I did an episode talking about how you don't have to be happy all the time. And I think even further back, there's one talking about how you don't have to be, or stop pretending to be happy. Stop pretending to be positive all of the time, because even the most positive people, I don't think that they're positive all of the time. There's still going to be pockets where they're feeling let down and feeling more chill and less upbeat and just more even kill than on top of the world happiness. And So if even those people can have some downtime and not feel like everything has to be hunky-dory, perfect, then it's okay for you to have bad days as well, because it's natural and normal and needs to be accepted more. So to close this out, let me share with you 4 reasons why it's acceptable to have bad days, because hopefully you will latch onto this information and share it with many other people and create a movement where you're no longer shaming other people for having bad days, and trying to force everyone into toxic positivity of being happy all the time, which is gross. Let's stop doing that. Okay, so just 4. The first one, bad days give you a chance to check in with yourself. You know me, I love it. I love checking in with yourself, talking to yourself, having a relationship with yourself to really understand yourself better. So giving yourself a chance to check in with yourself could definitely be like honoring your feelings, like really being like, okay, I'm mad right now. Okay, it's okay to be mad just as long as I respond rather than react, rather I really think about like, okay, well, I'm mad. That doesn't mean that I need to inflict pain on anyone else. I just need to really let it flow through and be like, well, why would I want to inflict pain? What will that change? How will that make me feel better? What will that amount to? Really asking yourself these deep questions. Also figuring out if the bad day, like if something in your day triggered you to feel like it's bad, or to lead you down the path of emotions to feel bad, feel angry, feel upset, feel whatever you're feeling, and to just really be like, oh, was that a trigger, or is that something else? Really asking yourself that question. Also to figure out what and why something bothered you. That's really important and can be helpful for you to like kind of know ahead of time if you're, going down that same like journey of like, oh, this thing is coming up again. And that made me really anxious or upset last time. Why did it do that? Is there any way that I can like overcome those feelings, or be able to stand up to those feelings and be okay and not feel so out of control this time, whatever it is. Also learning to sit with your negative emotions, because a lot of times, again, we like put so much shame on really accepting the fact that we are upset, we are sad, we are angry, we are mad, whatever it is, we are disappointed, and talking about how like, oh, you need to not feel that way. No, you can feel that way. You should feel that way. Sit in those negative emotions and really figure out why and how you got to this point and what you should do next to make yourself feel better and, again, understand yourself more. Number 2, you appreciate your good moments more. Feels very cliche to say that, but it's true. If you, like, it's okay to have bad days, but when you have bad days and then you have good days, you appreciate them more, especially if you're in a season of life where you feel like you're having more bad days than good days. You're really going to be like, wow, I am so happy that today is a really good day, because it could have been a bad day and I feel like I've been having them recently, like more often than not. So if you allow yourself, like once you start to become more self-aware, you can push yourself to appreciate your good days when you have these. If you're like really like, okay, am I having more bad days than good days lately? Okay, why is that? What needs to change here? What can we do? And how can I really lean more into my good days and practice gratitude and be grateful for those good days and enjoy them more and capture those memories deeper in my mind, so that when I am having bad days, I can really just like reflect on those good days and know that I will have them again because I had them before. So you'll be able to appreciate your good moments more. Number 3, you learn positive coping mechanisms. So good. Coping mechanisms is basically like, this would be ways to support yourself and help yourself to cope with the situation, the experience, the event that you are in a positive way and not a negative, because there's definitely positive coping mechanisms and then there's definitely negative coping mechanisms, which would be a negative way to cope could be doing drugs or drinking a lot of alcohol or hurting yourself or doing something like that. Whereas a positive coping mechanism would be to, again, find a way to support yourself and get out of that funk that you're in when it's time. I definitely want to highlight the phrase when it's time, because again, I do want you to honor your emotions, ask yourself those questions, figure out if you, like, why you're in this state of feelings and how that contributed to you having a bad day and feeling like you had a bad day. And then you jump to coping mechanisms. So this would just be ways to not obsess over what did or didn't happen. So like do something you enjoy, like take a bath, you can work out, you can read, you can do a puzzle, maybe Legos, time with your pets, calling a friend, cleaning. I really love cleaning when I have a bad day because it makes me feel like I am in control of something. I'm in control of this room becoming clean, and I'm very happy about it. So, just something to try out and just some good ideas for coping mechanisms. If none of those work for you or you feel like would be best, then I would literally just type into Google positive coping mechanisms and you'll find many, many lists to help you. Okay, number 4, and the last one for a reason why it is totally acceptable to have a bad day is no one is perfect and can have all good days. I don't think you can go and meet someone that literally is like, oh yeah, every one of my days here on earth has been good. Absolutely not. Now, maybe they might fudge a little bit and be like, yeah, everyone's good, but there has been some that are like not as good as others. And, honestly, I'm not sure I trust people that say it like that. I feel like it's a bunch of BS, just to be honest with you. I feel like they are trying to make it seem like they are more perfect and better than you, that they are able to label their days in a way that doesn't cause people to be disappointed in them or like want to put shame on them and judge them because they had bad days and couldn't keep it together, quote unquote. No, I think that's a bunch of garbage. It's a bunch of hot, gross garbage. No one is perfect and no one can have good days all of the time, right? But you'll see what you can get through when you are able to get through these bad days. You'll see how strong you are, and you'll see what you are capable of, and you'll see that you were able to get through that bad day and then move on to maybe another bad day and maybe another bad day, but then maybe a good day and then maybe an okay day. And you realize you're able to ride the wave of like whatever days are coming to you during this season of life, and you'll know that you were able to do it and do it as well as you could with the knowledge that you have to get through those days, which is always continually increasing if you are trying to make yourself become the best you can every single day. Like I encourage you to do so. So no one is perfect and can have all good days. And really seeing how you can get through these bad days will tell you more about yourself instead of pretending to be perfect and manage it all and saying that you can when you really can't. You're just lying to yourself to make yourself feel better when you say that all your days are perfect. It's garbage. It's hot garbage. So anyway, that is all 4 reasons why it's acceptable to have bad days. And I really hope this has really helped you to accept just where you are at every single day. And I will end on this quick little anecdote about how there's an influencer that I follow online, and often she will apologize for her appearance and tell people, you're just going to have to accept me for who I am today, which I know partially is kind of like a joke. They're being like sarcastic, but I know that partially it's true, just like watching her for over the years and what she's gone through. And I don't think that we have to apologize for who we are and for not like showing up as who we aspire to be 100% of the time, because it's just not going to happen. There are going to be rough patches. There are going to be bad days. There are going to be terrible days where the worst things will happen, right? And so I feel like by getting in this habit of apologizing that you are not at your 100% of who you'd love to be every day, really just makes other people feel bad that they aren't at their 100%, but it also just spreads this idea that we all need to always be at our 100% and be perfect and, have to do it all of the time. Absolutely not. Nope. And if you want a role model for someone that doesn't have it together all the time, makes mistakes, is very transparent and vulnerable about it, and will be on their A game a lot of days and then a lot of days not, you can follow me online. Absolutely. I will show that to you. I will show that to you everywhere, because I think we need to be more real about that, and we need to stop apologizing for not looking our most beautiful, because we can still be beautiful without dressing fancy and putting makeup on and doing our hair and all of this stuff. These vanity things, we can and we do and we are. And those things are fun because I do all those things. Sometimes we do part of it, and sometimes we do none of it, and sometimes we do all of it, and all of it is acceptable. And it doesn't matter. We just need to practice like accepting ourselves as who we are every day, and then accepting others who they are every day. And that changes. And that's good. And that's important to note. So, okay, you guys. Well, thank you so much for listening to the Real Positive Girl podcast. Again, with me, Sabrina. I appreciate you listening, downloading, and sharing the show. And please, I do encourage you to share the show so more people can listen to it and get help, I hope, by what I'm saying, the tips that I'm giving. Again, check the show notes below for how to follow me on Instagram, how to send me an email, how to sign up for, and the link to sign up for the new Real Positive Girl community group, and anything else that's down there that might intrigue you. You can visit my website, sign up for the newsletter as well. That's really cool. That comes out every 2 weeks. And I think that's about it. So again, thank you so much for listening. You guys are absolutely fantastic. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.